It had been 5 years that Ferrari didn't offer a supercar, or should I now say a hypercar, to the public. The last emperor was the all-carbon fiber F50 and its 520 horsepower, giving it a top speed of 202 miles per hour or 325 km per hour. It was also said that it would be the last supercar Ferrari would produce due to more stringent safety and emissions laws on car manufacturers. But technology had its way around problems, and in 2002 the new Ferrari supercar or hypercar was introduced with a familiar name, the Ferrari Enzo. Directly influenced by Formula One and designed by Pininfarina, the Ferrari Enzo had an old space carbon fiber chassis with a safety cell like on a sport prototype racing car. In addition to the chassis, an old carbon fiber body gave the Enzo a remarkable total weight of only 3,009 pounds or 1,365 kilos. The Enzo had, like the F50, a reminiscent long and pointy F1 nose and two large air intakes on each side of the bumper with a lower bumper lip joining the nose higher, also an F1 styling cue. The headlights were thin and elongated, with a front body depression on each side of the F1 nose to add downforce on the front axle. The front fenders received brake air vents located after the wheel arches. The windshield was very curvy and rakish, with a huge fixed side windows vent like on the F50. But the doors were a first for Ferrari because they adopted the scissor-hinged mechanism, allowing for better entry and exit. On the rear side fenders, two air intakes were fitted, with one on the lower sill part, while the enormous main engine intake sat on top of the fender. Unlike the 288 GTO and F50, the Ferrari Enzo didn't have any rear flying buttresses, but a fastback design fitted with a clear rear engine cover lid to marvel at the beast. On the controversial side, the quite round taillights differ from the traditional units because they were semi-encased into the rear panel and looked odd with their top elements exposed. Between the taillights was a black mesh grille helping the engine cooling process and was adorned with a chrome prancing horse logo at the center. Below it, the two Venturi exits and the usual quad pipes enveloped in the bumper. Again, unlike the F40 and F50, the Enzo didn't have a sky-high rear wing, but a small variable rear spoiler electronically operated. The system of flaps with variable openings was also found at the front undercarriage and was here to channel air into the flat undertray, creating most of the Enzo's downforce. The undertray Venturi created so much downforce actually that at 186 miles per hour or 300 km per hour, it totaled a spectacular 1,708 pounds or 775 kilos of downforce spread on both axles. Then, if you were lucky to find a straight long enough, the computer would reduce the downforce to 1,290 pounds or 585 kilos to allow the Enzo to reach its top speed of 217 miles per hour or 350 km per hour. At this speed, stopping power is crucial, so Ferrari fitted under their 19-inch dual 5-spoke wheels a Brembo-assisted carbon ceramic disc measuring 380 mm or 15-inch wide at the front with ABS, ensuring maximum fading-free braking power. The interior was an abundance of carbon fiber with surprisingly leather-covered racing bucket seats with other leather accents here and there. The gauges, with body color-coded matching backgrounds, were a mix of analog and digital dials placed under a carbon fiber binnacle. In between the racing seat was a center console housing the start button, lights and electric side mirror switches, while the now assisted steering wheel had 6 buttons ranging from the front nose lift button to the driving mode settings, including the traction control ASR on and off button. At the top of the steering wheel were 5 LED upshifting markers, with behind the steering wheel 2 F1 paddle shifters with a longer right-up shifting paddle. It took only 150 milliseconds for the sequential 6-speed transmission to upshift, and unlike other Ferrari sequential gearboxes, no automatic mode was to be found on the Enzo. A Sport and Race mode were the only settings available, with an even faster shifting time occurring in race mode with a under 100 millisecond time. The state-of-the-art engine was a dry sump V12 with 4 valves per cylinder. Its 6-liter or 366 cubic inch capacity produced a massive 650 horsepower at 7,800 rpm, with a torque figure of 485 foot-pound at 5,500 rpm. The V12 received variable inlet and exhaust valves, but a variable intake manifold also helped skyrocket the Enzo with its launch control aid to 60 miles per hour in a 3.5 second claimed, but 3.1 seconds have been recorded by independent testers, while the quarter mile came in 10.8 seconds with 6.6 seconds needed to reach 100 miles per hour or 160 km per hour. Part of the F50 criticism was over the fact that no bushing and assistance was used to give the F50 owners a more authentic F1 experience than the F40. But the noise and vibration created by the engine was a bit too much for road use, so the Enzo's engine was placed on the subframe to absorb some of the engine rawness. As mentioned previously, the Ferrari Enzo had a few driver's ed systems like the launch control, but mainly the onboard computer gave the Enzo its proper suspension firmness with its adaptive skyhook dampers, throttle response and traction without forgetting its aerodynamics. The last Enzo left Maranello in 2004 after 399 all left-hand drive Enzo were produced, thus 50 more than planned, plus one extra sold at Sotheby's to help the 2004 tsunami victims. In 2004, Ferrari introduced the Ferrari Fxx, which was a track development project based on the Enzo. Produced at 29 units, the Fxx had a larger 6.3-liter or 382 cubic inch V12, producing 800 horsepower at 8,500 RPM. On the outside, the Fxx could be identified by its single xenon small rounded lights, well-tailed with extended flaps, and its wide central stripe. Dedicated customers were the only one offered the opportunity to own a Fxx, but no delivery took place as all Fxx's stayed at Maranello, where they were taken to different tracks by the factory as an evolutionary development test car for the next Ferrari hypercar. With track-recorded data to improve the breed, the Fxx Evoluzione came in 2008 and produced 860 horsepower at 9,500 RPM, with now a F1 sequential shifting time of 60 milliseconds instead of the 80 milliseconds done by the Fxx. It is worth noting that in 2006 a one-off Enzo named the Ferrari P45 was ordered by collector James Glickenhaus as a retro tribute designed to the beautiful sport prototype Ferrari P3 and P4s which won Daytona in '67 in front of the Ford GT40s, with the first, second and third podium title. This unique model was also the most beautiful supercar offered from Ferrari, or as Enzo himself would say, until the next Ferrari comes along.